I have nursed much insomnia. There's been nothing worth keeping for a dream. I have seen the coldness of the city girls and the lies of the city boys. Oh, the pain of street children. Perhaps it's time to go right to the start. Sweet Bunyore, do you remember me? And if I come, will you receive me? Oh, sweet Bunyore, have you a place for me? Or am I just a child of fate? I hear the mooing of the cows as they give their scanty milk away. I can smell the evening fires as the clouds begin to swell again. How I long to hear your rivers flow, and the morning birds begin their praises as they join the whole creation in their mighty song to the King of Kings. Sweet Bunyore, do you remember me? And if I come, will you receive me? Oh, sweet Bunyore, have you a place for me? Or am I just a child of fate? Sweet Bunyore, do you remember me? And if I come, will you receive me? Oh, sweet Bunyore, have you a place for me? Or am I just a child of faith?
Oh, the sweet sounds all the way from Bunyore in Vihiga County.
Absolutely.
Reuben Kigame.
Almost heaven.
Almost heaven. That's another good song, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. The man is the same age as I am. We were born in the same year, 1966.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
You just did a lot more than me.
no.
Traveled the world more than me.
Not true.
I'm jealous, but yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And since the age of 3, folks, Reuben Kigame lost his sight when he was sitting at the dinner table, reached out for the plate,
Yeah.
and he couldn't see anything.
Yeah. I lost physical sight. We've got to qualify that.
Imagine the physical sight.
Yeah, because I'm still able to see you in so many other ways.
Indeed.
By the way, you look good.
And
Jeff.
in that time, look at that.
Yeah.
In that time, Reuben Kigame has become a mentor, a Christian leader, an activist, and
Yes.
of course, an amazing, amazing musician. He's produced more than 20 albums. Many of them you probably haven't heard. And he does some great covers as well. We're going to be going through that and his life story. He's written 2 books.
Yeah.
This man, on a roll, on a mission, and yes, making a difference. During this Christmas season, we want to make sure that we inspire you, each and every one of you. May be feeling down and out this Christmas time, but when you hear the sounds and the voice of Reuben Kigame, you will know, folks, you will know.
Merry Christmas.
Indeed. Merry Christmas to you too, Reuben. Mike, what a story you have. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you for that.
And I like that hat on you.
You like
You're just, you're just as cowboy as I am. Yeah, I know that.
You know, it's amazing for a guy who can't see a thing, but you see a lot.
I do. You know, there's a book by William Shakespeare. It's called King Lear.
King Lear.
Yeah, and there's a character in there that's called Gloucester. And Gloucester says, a man may see this world without eyes. A man may do that.
May see this world
Yes.
without eyes.
And guess what? Each time you go to sleep and close your eyes, there's a lot you can see.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you dream, Reuben?
In pictures. I dream in pictures. I've recently had a conversation with a friend of mine
Yeah.
on what an elephant is. And the argument was, it was pretty philosophical. The argument was, is your concept of an elephant purer than mine?
Oh.
Never touched an elephant, never seen one. But I could write 10 pages on elephanthood, you know?
Yes.
And the point is, there was this guy called Plato. He says, out there's a real picture of real things that all of us could sort of draw from.
Yeah.
And we all interpret them in different ways. We could miss, a particular percentage of it or something. He called them forms. There are real forms out there. Yeah, and so there is a reality that we all can actually aspire to and touch. And that's why you and I mean, I can't see you, but we can converse.
Yes.
Why is that possible? Because there's a real thing called language out there that both of us can partake of.
Right.
Yeah.
And share.
And share.
Ruben, where does this attitude come from? Because, a lot of people who lose their sight, because you were born seeing, and for the first 3 years you could see.
It comes from two people.
Go on.
One is my mother. Tough lady in discipline, but tough-hearted too. Our father was most of the time a runaway, absentee father.
Yeah.
And she raised 7 kids,
Wow.
all by herself. And even when there was nothing to live for, and she was always, you must go on.
Yeah.
And then she told me something. Even when you don't have, you must look like you do have. I wrote a song about my father once. I said, Daddy came home last night. It was a shock for the folks that knew well. If Daddy kept drinking, the bottle would kill him. Because Daddy, his second name was the bottle. and from that day, that's why I don't drink. Because I just saw what it was.
What it did to him.
Yes, and to us.
And to you all.
Yes.
When did you pick up the guitar, Ruben?
Pretty young. First of all, pretty much like a toy, a plaything from my brothers, sort of just pinching the strings.
Right.
But in high school, I began to teach myself the guitar by listening. And then I found a friend who showed me a couple chords and took off when I began to be good. So the rest of it I taught myself. Some of the patterns that I have for holding the chords are pretty clandestine, but I like them anyway. So, a chord like G, you have, maybe 3 or 4 ways of doing it. You can have that and you can have that.
Right.
I have that. You could bar it, so many different ways.
Yes.
And so I learned to use my thumb for the F, chord, so that I could go all the way, So, and by listening, I hear a lot. Even when I do music production, because I'm a producer.
Yes.
There are things that I do that I cannot quite explain to the average person. For example, instruments have a masculine or feminine character.
Right.
And I have to consider where I put them in the recording. You will understand the psychology of this. If I say, if you're walking by a road side with a lady.
Yeah.
Which side would you have the lady walk on as a man?
The pavement side, not the road side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I do in my music. That if you've got a violin and you've got a trombone, you've got to put the trombone on the right side and the violin on the left.
Oh.
So those little intricate things
Yeah.
that I hear a lot. I hear... I love nature. I probably see a lot in nature than most of you. But I usually tell friends that if I wasn't a Christian, I would probably be a pantheist. Just nature, the flowers,
Yes.
the grasses.
Right.
When I bite into sukuma wiki, I've got to pause.
Because?
And have it sink, have the taste sink into my glands and into my mind and heart.
Wow.
Because, if I touch the side here and I touch this, the feel of velvet or any material, it means something to me. And that's why for me, relationships are everything. Yeah, I value people. So it hurts me to see people use people. Yeah. Yeah, because I attach a lot of meaning to stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow. So, okay, so a lot of your songs are about relationships
Yes, and and philosophy.
and philosophy.
Yes.
Like, for instance, and you do covers as well. And, you
Yes,
talk about a
yes.
couple of covers that
Yeah,
you do.
yeah. A storyline like that of Randy Travis.
Go
you
on.
know. A farmer and a teacher, a hooker and a preacher, riding on that midnight bus bound for Mexico. One was headed for vacation, one for higher education. Two of them were searching for lost souls. And that driver never ever saw the stop sign. And 18-wheelers can't stop on a dime. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. I guess it's not what you take when you leave this world behind you, is what you leave behind you when you go. So you've got stories like that.
I love
And
it.
they mean a lot
Yes.
to me because, I mean, that's life. When you see somebody smash a bus
Yeah.
load of, 40 plus people.
Yeah, innocent souls.
Yeah, because of careless driving or because of drugs or something.
Yeah.
It's not just death. You're losing, parents to children. You're losing, a
Fathers,
nation's economy.
yeah, breadwinners and
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
But do you think that's God's work, Ruben? When something like that happens, when lives are wiped out in the blink of an eye, is
Yeah.
that God's work?
Okay, yes and no. Yes, because at the end of it, God is in control of everything and He allows what happens. Because if He didn't allow it, then we would have to agree that He's not in control.
Yeah.
I would need to add, though, that sometimes we treat death as the worst thing that could ever happen. I mean, we all are going to die. So it's just that speeding up of that death and or, dying without a destiny, without a hope. That's really terrible, without knowing where you spend eternity. But a lot of the mistakes, a lot of the accidents are really human error.
Yes.
I mean, it's either a policeman who accepted a bribe and allowed a faulty bus to drive on.
Yep.
Or speed, or it's just, the driver's tired, we all know he's tired, and we let him drive.
Yeah.
And this you cannot blame it on God. There are lots of things people blame God for. For example, drought. When you look at a drought situation, you really can't say that's evil caused by God. I mean, who cuts down the trees? Not one of the angels. So it is us. When people starve to death, there's enough food to go around in this world.
Yeah.
And so why should anyone die of starvation? Absolutely. This is human error.
Philosophical indeed, Ruben.
Yeah,
Philosophical.
absolutely. But it's just common sense. I mean, when you have a bad leader, you can't blame God on it. We voted them in. So
We get what we deserve.
exactly, Jeff.
We get what we deserve.
We get what we deserve and what we work for.
Yeah.
That's our paycheck.
Speaking of reckless driving and accidents, you have a song about Matatu Madness,
Yes,
don't you?
it's actually called Minibus Ride. Are you ready for that
Yes,
one?
yes.
You leave home in the morning, it's time to go to work. You wish to board a taxi, but you do not have a cent. Your neighbor lends you bus fare, hoping soon you'll pay it back. And so you board a minibus, and it's time for hell to break loose again. They pack you like sardines, and they will squeeze you to the seat. Another man picks your pocket and takes your bus ticket home. They shout at you and call you names you wish you didn't board. But the angry boss will never understand. As the driver takes the corner, there's a pothole on the road. So he swerves and hits a cyclist who's pedaling against the tide. No one keeps the traffic rules, no one seems to understand. that any time someone could die from the madness and the selfishness we see. So they pack you like sardines and they will squeeze you to the seat. Another man picks your pocket and takes your bus ticket home. They shout at you and call you names you wish you didn't board. But the angry boss will never understand. Jeff, yes, they pack you like sardines.
Squeeze you to the seat. That's beautiful.
That's
you wrote that yourself?
Yes, I did.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. When it was really bad.
Yes.
Just before Michuki, I must add. Yeah.
And 20 albums later, Ruben, I mean, do you just write all the time, or?
No, I write on inspiration. I spend a lot of time meditating on the world and, the Word of God. And so my songs are really a product of God's Word and, the Bible, and then, the book of life itself, nature.
Yeah. Tell me something, Ruben, since you meditate and you speak to God a lot, do you ask him why he took your sight away? Do you ever have that conversation?
No, that's gone. Now I ask him bigger questions. Like why he took away my wife in a road accident.
Yes.
You see, I had learned to live without sight.
Right.
But I had never learned to live without my best friend. Yeah, so that one was the most tragic. And I can handle blindness. I can't handle that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I ask him questions like, I used to run a radio station. And because of a couple of things I cannot bring on air, I had to shut down.
Right.
And I asked him, Lord, I thought we were changing lives, you and I.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so one door, closes, another one opens, though.
Yeah.
And so I've poured my life into scholarship and research.
And mentoring.
And mentoring.
Yeah,
yes.
you do a lot of that, Ruben.
Yes.
But okay, again, in the conversations with God, I mean, do you sometimes ask him, why me? Or do you think that God gives you only what you can handle? You know that age-old saying, he won't give you more than you can handle.
I hear that, Jeff. And, over time, I used to ask a lot of those questions, but I went into that field. Actually, besides music, that's what I do. I do ask a lot of questions and investigate. Yeah. And so I've asked questions like, if there is a good God, why evil? And there are people who simply quit on God as if it's something new. I had quit on God myself. In fact, I had reasons for not liking God.
Yeah.
And so I had to search. I looked through different religions, I looked through different philosophies and traditions, and I found my answers. And incidentally, Jeff, without betting an eyelid, I found a lot of my answers in the Bible. And so I don't approach the Bible as this liturgical collection that I pick up on Sunday morning. I study it and compare it with the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the writings of Baha'u'llah and all those things. So I check it out and I ask God questions. And the thing is that a lot of people think God is afraid of questions. He says in Isaiah 1:18, come now. It's like, come, baby, come. Come, let's reason together. Yeah. And he challenges and says in Isaiah 41:21, set forth your case, present your arguments. So God is not afraid of questions.
Right. And you shouldn't be afraid of him.
Yeah. Well, afraid
afraid to ask.
Yeah, in the sense of reverence.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's not. I mean, if you're afraid of him, tell him you're afraid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is one guy in the Bible called Job. And God takes him on and says, Job, I'm going to question you. I want you to stand up and answer like a man. And that's how I have approached God and ask the big questions of life. Yeah. Like, is Judas in hell? And or are you going to send all the atheists to hell just because they didn't believe in you and stuff like that.
Here's one question I always ask, Ruben, and maybe it's fair or unfair, but I heard this one somewhere where someone said, the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he didn't exist.
Actually, that's interesting you quote that, because C.S. Lewis takes that further, and he says there are two equally, there are two things that the devil is equally pleased with. And one is for anyone to disbelieve in him.
Right.
To believe in his non-existence.
Yes.
The other is to feel an unhealthy fascination with him. so either way, he's happy with the two. And so the question is, Jeff, we need to go beyond the fear of the devil. We need to go beyond fear and face fear on the face.
Yeah.
And recognize that if you and I are here, there is a reason why we're here.
Correct.
And it's much bigger than fear.
Absolutely.
And so I don't waste my time fearing tomorrow and so on, because there are answers for tomorrow. I don't waste my time worrying and thinking about what I don't have. I look at what I have and ask how I can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jeff, you inspire me. You've got a segment on your radio.
Yes.
One story a day?
Yeah, a story a day.
A story a day?
Yes, yes.
I love that.
Is that right?
Because, these are about real people, real experience. And I like to hear how your own experiences have shaped who you are.
Correct.
And you're serving God with your journalism and all these wonderful interviews.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Ruben. And you inspire so many people, man. And you're
Oh,
inspiring
man.
me right now.
No,
I mean, I can see with both my eyes, and I can't
come
even
on.
play that
Jeff,
instrument that you're playing.
Forget about the guitar. You can do much more than that. And I'll tell you this, Jeff, the one thing we don't do very well as human beings is compliment people. I don't want to come to your graves, side
and say good things.
About you. I want to tell you now.
Yes, while I'm still alive.
Yes,
because I can't hear you when I'm in the hole.
No. And if I don't know whether you can hear me or not when you're dead. But for sure, I know you can hear me now.
Yes.
And Jeff, you do a good job on radio. You do a good job on television.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You are one of my greatest interviewer guys that I'd like to listen to.
Wow.
I mean, that's it. It's
Thank
a
you, brother.
fact.
Thank you,
And
brother.
nobody can dispute that.
Listen, we're going to take a break, come back and
Okay.
talk. But before we do that,
Yeah.
and thank you for the compliment, before we do that, you were just talking about your late best friend. And a song just came to my mind, Vows Go Unbroken.
Vows Go
Which is one of
Unbroken.
your favorite songs.
Yes, it is.
Go on, Ruben, go on.
Yeah.
Take us to break. We're going to take a break, come back, plenty more ahead. Reuben Kigame, like you've never seen him before. JK Live takes a break. Stay with us. Plenty more ahead.
Right. From the moment I met you, you made my life complete. This wave of pure devotion has swept me off my feet. And tonight when we kissed, you still took my breath away. I know it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. The vows go unbroken, and you still know I do. Love, keep, and honor, always true to you.
Oh, my God, Ruben, my goodness.
Oh, man.